Hello. I would like to thank some people at the beginning of this episode, specifically Gotham Jayanthi, Eric Jedrzak, Sauce Cup, Nick P, and Tanukit Boot. All of these are people who have gone to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv, kicked us some money, and helped us out a great deal. You can be like them and support this show and this whole network and get cool stuff in return by going to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv.
My name is Gary Butterfield.
My name is Cole Ross.
And you're listening to Watch Out for Fireballs, the most innovative podcast you've heard in years.
And this week we are talking about SUPERHOT, which is a puzzle game developed and published by the SUPERHOT team for PC and consoles in 2016. Sorry, I mispronounced that. SUPERHOT. Hot.
It's amazing that turns out to be catchy. Like, it's not a song or anything.
Nope.
It's just very compelling. The whole game, very compelling.
Yeah.
Going back to this, like, I knew that I loved this. I loved other iterations of it.
Mm-hmm.
This is simply one of the best ideas for a video game of all time.
It's real Portal. It's real Portal-y.
Yeah. Like, real quietly, just like, fuck. This changes everything.
God damn.
Yeah. It's so rare that like a core mechanic, I think, carries a game, like full carries it,
mm-hmm.
And like Portal's a good point of comparison for that. Like it's just what an impressive little work.
Mm-hmm.
This is like endlessly fun. Like, God, I fucking love this game.
Yeah. It's really, really good, and I've enjoyed at least the one derivative product of it that I've put time into. I assume you will have more to say about the roguelike version, but
I mean, I put equal time into both, which is not tons.
Gotcha.
For various reasons.
Yeah.
But enough to speak about them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, fucking A. Quietly, just like, man, what a great game. So this is, in this game, you play as a person whose friend gives them this mysterious cracked.exe. And this movie, when you play this, you go into this strange first-person shooter where time only moves when you do. That is the gimmick.
Yes. And that's the whole game, pretty much. It is an expansion on the different things that can happen with that simple concept. Here's a first-person shooter. Here are sliced up levels in small little chunks that are, vaguely connected, thematically. Like there is a journey that happens in some of the runs of these. But it's just learn this concept as thoroughly as you can and see the different ways that we can apply it, and then we're gone.
Well, and in addition, it's a concept that relies on a video game literacy into this. Like this only works because of decades of first-person shooters existing before it. Like, or only it hits harder rather.
Yeah.
Like this needs a context to play off of, and the context goes outside of video games and into like kill cams.
Mm-hmm.
And people putting up their like no scope, Call of Duty or what's not that called, Counter-Strike.
Yeah,
like they're cool moves that they do in a multiplayer shooter, emulating that for everyone. Like you don't have to be, the goal for this is to make you feel and enable you to do the coolest shit imaginable that requires a high degree of execution in a regular game.
Yeah.
Here it's a slightly lower, lower floor for that in order to do that execution. But the semiotics, like how it presents the cool thing you're doing, is known. It's playing off an established like online brag that people do.
Yeah. And even if you don't have that context, like doing something that in replay looks like a highly choreographed action scene, John Wick style, just, combat god kind of thing, without the burden of reflex, and placing everything kind of entirely on just decision making, figuring out how to prioritize targets, where to move, dodging in an advantageous way, like just taking everything out of the hands and putting it in the head, is a very good choice.
Well, and laser targeted at me and you,
of course,
as people with big sloppy hands that aren't great at execution.
No, sometimes. I got dumb meat hands.
Yeah. The reason why I paused there is because I was going to refer to our hands as big sloppy hand jobs. Like I've been throwing job on as a suffix. Like, grab this the sandwich job or whatever, this hot dog job I'm going to have. And the idea of us having big sloppy ham jobs is very different. Extremely, it's the most innovative hand job I've had in years. But yeah, so us have it, you and I are not execution based people, right? Like the Sekiro lukewarmers, Neo agnostics that we are, like deeply, we bounced off Returnal. Deeply execution based, reflex based play is difficult for us, but this allows us to exercise a different part of our brain to create the same results,
right?
And it's not it's important that like it's still a product of what you're doing.
Yeah,
like other games I feel like try to make you do an incredibly cool thing, but they do it through the like do something awesome button or whatever, or it's a QTE, or it's a Uncharted style. Like I just walked up to this and now my avatar is going to do something cool and all I did was press A. That shit sucks. That's too much.
Yeah.
Here, this doesn't feel babying. Like I'm still executing a cool thing. It just looks like a different flavor of cool thing.
Yeah.
Love
it.
What an idea.
Yeah. And everything about it is minimal. We'll talk about this, but this is what this, initially was the product of a 7-day game jam kind of deal. And their adherence to that scope, even in the presentation, this kind of white VR world with red enemies and black objects, is really is like just makes everything just instantly readable too. Like this is real whittled down.
They have that there's secrets you can find in this game, which I didn't fuck around with the first time I played it, and I looked for them this time, and that's one of the things that the narrator will tell you. Like it'll be like textures are a distraction.
Yes.
So yeah, like that's basically the game, but we're going to talk about how that concept folds out. This probably will be a shorter episode of the show.
Yes.
But like, one of the things I want and have wanted for the last few years, watch out for Fireballs, is to expand the format to where we can talk about things that deserve it, that don't necessarily match our usual format. So there's going to be, more of this stuff. I know I keep threatening that. We've done a little bit of it, but it will keep happening. Like I don't want to be like, oh, that doesn't have enough to support an episode. Like, so the, as we mentioned, time only moves when you do, that's a little bit of an exaggeration. Time moves very slowly.
Yes.
You don't move. That's really key. It needs to. Otherwise, and you still end up in a situation where you wiggle your arm back and forth to make time move back. You take a step forward, take a step back.
It looks hilarious in the replay. Yeah.
But in the actual play of the game, you're using time as kind of a resource. So time isn't moving. When you choose to pick something up or shoot something or punch or whatever, you have to look at your surroundings and decide if you can afford time moving forward a bit while you grab something or throw something, etc.
Yeah. You're looking and seeing, okay, is that guy is he mid swing on a melee attack? Is that guy aiming at me? Is there a bullet currently on its way to my head? Is there a red glow coming around that corner that means that I'm that much closer to having another person join the party? Like my next move, maybe should be to take out whoever's closest so that I don't get dogpiled. Right.
Yes. Yeah. Time as a resource in addition to being this central mechanic.
Yeah.
Like it's a thing you spend in addition to the thing you manipulate in this game.
Yeah. Things do move a little bit more. Not as much as if you take an action or, move your character, but they do move when you are aiming around and turning. So that situational awareness, like gaining more information to make your decision, does advance things just a little bit.
I think it's the same speed as if you're just standing still.
It's a little bit faster.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay. Because it doesn't, it never stops. Like time never actually fully stops. Like I've sat down and watched a bullet, go by.
Yeah.
It will just go by.
Importantly, you only have one hit point. An enemy attack, be it a gunshot or a punch, will kill you. Enemies have one hit point for everything but punches. They take 3 of those bad boys to shatter.
Yes. Yeah. The game, what you're doing through this is figuring out how kind of guns and melee work in enemy behavior in this. There's a small number of elements, but how they kind of interdepend.
Yeah.
Is the game here.
Yeah.
So for example, even though bullets move very slowly, like through time, like because you have time stopped, like real shooting, you have to lead your targets. Hitting a moving target, even at close distance, is difficult.
Yes.
That's a thing that's true in real life. And this goes both ways. If an enemy fires at you, staying moving is a really good way to make them miss. And if it's far enough away, you can literally dodge the bullet.
Right. I love that feeling. I love, there are situations where they explicitly put you into this, but it's like you've got a bunch of dudes shooting at you from one direction, kind of just...
They'll kill in sync if they get a chance. And in this game, we didn't mention this, but you play as the members of NSYNC.
You do. All 5 of them at once.
Yeah. One Direction hates you.
Yeah. But wait, it took me a second to realize what you did there. Yeah. But yeah, weaving in and out of those bullets does feel really good.
Yeah. It's one of we're going to talk about the different versions of this in a little bit, but that's one of the things that I think the VR version nails.
Oh yes. Yeah.
And is actually, an improvement on that version. Your pistols have a reload. Your pistols and your shotguns. There's only 3 guns in this game. They have a reload before you can fire it again. This is indicated by this rotating targeting reticle.
Perfect interface.
It's perfect. There's a reason why more things don't steal it, because usually you can just fire the next bullet right away.
Oh yeah, there's some automatic
really reload in this. It's the bullet getting up into the chamber.
Yeah,
it's the mechanics of that. But this is perfect for that because that's where you're going to be looking.
Yeah. Enemy guns have unlimited ammo. Like there are bursts that they do, like so you can get out, but they don't have to throw guns down and pick new ones up like you do. Your guns, even the ones you grab from them, they do have a limited number of shots. So you can get 3 handgun shots off, 2 shotgun shots, or 4 3-round bursts from assault rifles. And when you're done, you're done. You get the little on-screen flash that says you're out. And you got to decide what to do next. And probably, most likely, you still have that gun in your hand, so you can choose to throw that at an enemy.
Yes. And an enemy that gets hit by a gun or an object in the environment doesn't die, but they will drop anything they're holding. You can also pick up just anything that's in the environment that's black. Yep. So there's little abstract icons that represent telephones and printers and things like that, plates, knives, stuff like that. You
can throw a TV at somebody like it's gross point blank.
Yes.
Yeah. So we talked about the guns flying out of the enemy's hands, anything flying out of their hands. This is very generous because they conveniently always throw it directly at your face.
Yeah. Throw it into you. Like they basically say, hey, catch.
Yep.
And this is the part of the loop. Like you do this, they throw their gun, you catch it and shoot them with it. Hoist it upon their own petard.
Yeah.
The kind of thing that happens if you really own a gun. Much more likely to be shot by it.
Yep.
This is a realistic take on gun ownership. Very for the enemy. The other thing those items will do that's really useful is they will destroy a bullet. In the air. So if an enemy is about to shoot you and you throw your object, even if you don't get there before the shot goes off, if it hits the bullet will stop.
Yes.
And throwing objects to destroy bullets, or more advanced, shooting bullets to destroy bullets is incredible fun.
Yes. If you can manage to make it happen, make a bullet hit another bullet in the air. Same thing with the katana. You get a katana that can cut bullets out of the air. Yeah.
Katana also, it's worth noting, the one exception to the thrown weapon doesn't kill.
Yes.
Rule, you can throw a katana. There are also a couple like knife.
They're like darts and knives that'll kill if you get a head, if you land it in their head.
Yeah, I don't think you have to land on their head.
I had a bunch of guys running around with darts sticking out their chests.
I just did it last night with throwing stars.
Weird.
And killed dudes by hitting them in the torso. So
maybe darts are different.
It's a dart versus throwing star thing.
Yeah.
For the most part, if it here's a better way to put it: if an object is blunt, it's just going to stun.
Yes. Yeah. So you can also stun enemies with your punches. If you do 3 actions and do your punches, it'll break them. And punches I found were generally a little bit more useful than melee weapons. Picking up a melee weapon like a bat or a pipe or a katana, yes, you will kill the enemy if you hit them with it. But those are limited as well. They have durability. And the wind-up time for a swing is actually longer than with punches. So if you're like right in the clutch on somebody and they're about to fire at you or about to hit you with their own thing, punches end up working.
Yeah. And if you end up with a melee situation and it's too late, that's a good time to throw, because throw feels instant. At least in the the PC version of this, and the straight version of it, the regular version, which most of these things we're going to talk about apply to that primarily, and then we'll talk about the changes that happen with the other versions of this. Otherwise, there's another mechanic that gets added late in the game, but we'll talk about that when we get there. Generally, this is it. You also seems silly to say, but it's worth saying. You can move around and you can jump. Jumping is interesting. If you hold down the jump button, you'll jump in slow-mo. If you let go of the jump button, you'll fall.
Yeah.
So you can choose whether you want the jump to operate like regular movement or not, which is tactically advantageous.
Yes. Yeah. There are only a couple of times where you're really required to jump.
Yes. Yeah, that's true too. It's not really something you need to be doing. It is something you have to do to find all those secrets.
Yes. Yeah. But those are the basics, and obviously the entire game is finding new ways to use all of them and test out different, combinations, the way those simple elements kind of work together. There's no stealth in this, not really. There's no like crouching or anything. It is just a pretty straight basic FPS, but presented in this kind of time-shifted way.
Yes. The aesthetic is really sparse. As we mentioned, that kind of objects are black, enemies are red, everything else is white. It looks great.
Yep.
It looks like you're playing, this is what the Matrix would look like if they remade the Shadowrun Genesis now. But that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. No music present in this, just kind of ambient sounds. This wouldn't work until you get to the end and you get the SUPERHOT musical cue, like chant, which is very relieving and catchy.
Yes.
So like the closest, like there's nothing else that plays like this. There are a couple of things that you can make comparisons, but they're pretty different.
Yeah.
One of the closer comparisons I think you can make is Hotline Miami.
Oh yeah.
Which plays very differently. That's much more fast paced, but it has a similar rhythm of like short burst of violence in what you're doing. And the way they use music is really interesting, and the way they use silence.
Yes.
Compared. This is silence until you finish and you get a relief, whereas Hotline Miami wants you to be in a flow zone, and then you get silence to make you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
At the end. They're kind of opposite approaches.
You get that post-nut clarity.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I just threw a nut through somebody's head.
And the game, I love the way the game uses text, really just graphical kind of interface stuff as well. The gigantic flashing text at you, which isn't precisely subliminal, but like it flashes up for a second and then goes away. Less than a second, it feels like, along with like a flash bulb kind of sound.
Yeah, you're meant to read it. It's not subliminal, because this is how they're portraying useful information. Like, this is how it tells you you're out of ammo and stuff. Yeah. But it's kind of presented as this beam directly into your brain kind of thing. Yeah. The sound effect is great. That flashbulb sound effect, like all of the sound design in this game is actually excellent. Quietly, like very, very good.
Yeah. Otherwise, so like your user interface for like menus and things like that, and then also like the framing device for this, it is this thing called PyOS. It's like an archaic DOS like graphical interface through ASCII, kind of like low res block kind of stuff that looks really good. There's chatting that takes place here. When you type, you just, rattle the buttons and then something fills out.
Yeah,
So
you mash the keyboard and it tells you what you're going to say.
it's like hacker typer.
Yeah. The desktop is fun. There are little like widgets you can play with, like, animations, movies, stuff like that. Like there are little ASCII animations and stuff.
New stuff is put there as you progress. One of the games that is in there that's just in the games folder, the lumberjack one, is actually pretty fun.
It is really fun.
Yeah,
it's the same. It's like a WarioWare game, a little bit, but continues. Yeah, it's real good. The aesthetic, the best thing that this aesthetic does, other than being cool, is tie into the story. The story is not. It's I think a really excellent execution of an idea that is too old.
Yes.
Like if this was the first time I saw something that was doing this, absolute mind blowing.
Oh yeah.
Shit. Like this is a really solid execution of the like AI is assimilating you, are you in control or is it in control?
Right.
Like these things that are kind of hoary, like cliches at this point.
Yeah.
Are at the time, if they had come at the right time, teenage me would have fucking like based his identity around this. I would have been like, I'm a hacker now. Brain is software. Let's go. I'm insufferable. I'm never going to touch a pussy again. Like it would have been, this would have ruined me.
I'm a super hot American.
Just like, hey ladies, you want to check out my BBS? Like I would have been miserable for the rest of my life.
Yeah. A thing that I like is that it does play around like a little bit with like, okay, I'm actually making stuff happen in real life, but it's super incidental to what this thing is actually trying to get you to do. It kind of doesn't matter if you are or not.
Yeah. That's the other thing too is the like that thing we did for Adaptation Decay, where the guy plays the
beta test.
Like beta test.
Yeah.
It's swerving towards a beta test.
I mean, more accurately, Ender's Game, probably.
Yeah.
No, let's say beta test.
Yeah, let's say beta test. We need to talk about Ender's Game.
Nope. My gosh.
But you can ignore this story. The way that it functions as you're sitting down to play, if you're not getting information revealed, is just a breather. It fulfills, the SUPERHOT or the Hotline Miami comparisons will continue. Yeah. It fulfills the same function,
yes,
as going to the video store in Hotline Miami.
Yes,
ludically. So there's a version of this that was first created in 2013 for, as we mentioned, a game jam, a 7-day FPS challenge. And this was inspired by a Flash game called Time for Cat.
I need to reinstall that big library of old Flash games that are able to run, because I would really like to play that to see, first off, how do you find that? B, like, what's it like? It's about a cat running out into the road to get food, is my understanding. But yeah.
It's interesting how something will get kind of picked up and iterated on to its final form, but then you can find precedents like that, like and they always have to do with cats. So for example, the first time I saw, like, there's a game called Cat Trap for Game Boy that does the braid trick, like you can move backwards and undo stuff, and it's also a little puzzle platformer.
Nice.
But it came out on the Nintendo Game Boy instead of the braid supercomputer.
You mean the Xbox 360?
Yeah.
Yeah. What the fuck is that? Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't know why we're so punchy.
That version only had 3 levels. But everyone lost their shit because it's one of the coolest ideas in video game history.
Oh yeah. They struck a nerve immediately, and it got that attention. It was popular enough that when they ran a Kickstarter for a full version of the game, it was funded in one day. And this is like back like 2015, I think they launched that. It was a relatively quick turnaround. Like that didn't necessarily happen with video games that much by that point. Yeah.
No. So they had more resources. The team expanded the game So they leaned into this aesthetic and gameplay. The aesthetics are different from the demo version. Those characters had sunglasses that you killed. They made them into the cool red guys they are.
Cool.
But they expanded on it. And the something that's like an elephant in the room that's worth talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The scope they expanded it to is still fairly limited. This is a 2.5 hour game.
Yeah.
There are a bunch of different modes you can play that are all fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like endless modes and different challenges and stuff. It is real fun to replay, but it is a short game.
Yes.
And it's great for that. I don't want there to be a lot added to it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we'll talk about the sequel here in a moment, which is cool, but is not as good. Like if the sequel, if the roguelike version of this came out first, it would not be as good.
Right.
This benefits from being 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have the dollar to hour ratio, Gene, this is a good argument against it because I've gotten way more than 2 hours worth of fun out of this through replaying it and through like thinking about it.
I mean, and the influence as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's talk about different versions of this.
Yeah.
There are two other SUPERHOT universe games.
Yeah, SUPERHOT. SUPERHOT VR fucking rules.
Yeah.
It is the perfect VR game.
It's one of the few it's weird because it's VR month. Kinda. It's one of the few VR games I feel like fully justifies VR.
Mm-hmm.
Fully. Like it's not that it doesn't add ever, like even in something that doesn't need it still adds.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. It's a totally different game.
Yes.
It feels really, really different. And the biggest addition to it is being able to crouch.
Yep.
And dodge bullets. Your body can dodge in incremental ways to dodge bullets.
When it's tracking like individual like arms and stuff like that, or interpolating like what your individual arm would be. I joked about this on the level when I first played this, but like I'll finish like an hour session of that, and then like my legs will be sore. It's like a VR version that is secretly teaching you how to do like a very freeform version of Tai Chi.
A little bit. Yeah. You are doing a lot of isometric exercise.
Yeah.
It's not, so I really like it. It's not perfect. The two things I don't like, they didn't figure out how to make throwing good in it.
Yeah.
There's ways around it, but it's always like fiddly in a way that's obnoxious, whereas it's just a button press in the regular version, just kind of a thing for not doing full verisimilitude.
Yeah.
But the bigger issue with that is that they kept the level rhythms. So the way this is structured is each level is a collection of scenes. You checkpoint at the VR version at the beginning. That collection of scenes. So you can do a 3 or 4 scenes, have it be fine, die on the last one,
and then have to do all
sometimes because of this throw mechanic not working, and then have to do the whole thing again. Yeah, which it's fun like to do it, but it ends up feeling worse to me. Like that aspect specifically feels worse than the tabletop version or the desktop version.
It makes it it makes it harder, like a harder proposition to like get through. I've not beaten it because I've gotten to a point where I just get frustrated and feel like doing something else.
The last level seems like a fucking nightmare.
Right.
In VR. Like the last level of the desktop version is really hard. And if I were dealing with that fiddle then I would be annoyed.
Yeah.
It's still worth playing and it's still really good. It justifies itself. It's just, I wish it was a little bit better in that respect. And it's a really interesting VR question, that this raises, whereas like a button is really good.
It is.
Like I love buttons. Like we talk about this, like buttons are really phenomenal. In this, throwing something on the desktop version is incredibly precise in a way that is additive to every element of the gameplay and the fantasy. Like I can do John Wick shit where I like throw a knife perfectly. Yeah. Because all I'm doing is moving a cursor and pressing a button.
It's not a throw. It is like projecting. It's projecting something straight out from you toward whatever your reticle is pointed at, as opposed to throwing, which involves, like a timed release,
Yes.
Like most of my throws in VR kind of end up being these kind of just like really just kind of like weak little underhanded
Pushes.
flicks, yeah,
You
or
do a little flicks.
pushes,
Yeah, like
yeah,
the most success I had within VR was with pushing.
uh-huh.
And that just felt stupid.
Yeah.
Like in pursuit of feeling more like I'm throwing a cool knife and doing a cool thing, it ended up being worse than just pressing a button.
Yeah.
The thing I want all video game designers to ask when they come up with an alternative for a button is this better than a button?
Mm-hmm.
And this is something where like I would just wish there was an alternate control scheme and I could press the little middle finger button and it would just operate like it does on desktop.
Yeah.
Those are nitpicks. Like, it's still really cool. It's probably the best VR game I played. I haven't fired up Alex yet for that because I was running into other VR headaches because it's a fiddly, annoying.
It's not ready for prime time. Like the individual games are really cool, but the experience of getting to them is a fucking nightmare.
And even the individual games, like this is the best one that I've played.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is really, really good.
Yeah.
As such.
Yep. There was a dumb controversy. Oh, but did you want to hit that dumb controversy thing? Because I just want to complain about
it. Like I didn't. I didn't pay attention.
Yeah, I just want to talk about people being dumb. So, in the original, in Superhot, the PC game, there are scenes where you have to do stuff to your body as you're piloting something else. And technically self-harm. And in the VR version, they had scenes that were akin to that as the system was trying to take you over or whatever. Those were there, but they got complaints from folks saying like, hey, this, it's VR is a little much with that. And they put it in a mode to take it out. And then they just finally decided, no, we can do better than that. And then they pulled it out. And then people started review bombing it because they said it was virtue signaling. So.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that I think that it's too much to do those things in VR. Like I don't think it hurts by bringing them out, or taking them out. But I also think that's maybe mildly more. It's more than my sensitivities lie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But see also the TV trope page that somehow has tear jerkers. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, how could you're born without skin? Like absolutely the most sensitive people, and sensitivity is a superpower. Like a degree of sensitivity is really, really good. But if Superhot's making you cry, like,
sorry,
how do you
man,
get up in the morning? Like, how do you go and do chores and stuff? You know? That's wild. That's just very wild to me. Superhot?
Tear jerkers.
Tear jerkers.
Super.
Super. Super sad. Super sad. There's a sequel as well.
Yes.
To this.
Mind Control Delete.
Yes. This is real neat. It makes more changes than you might think.
Mm-hmm.
It does. The way it works is kind of a roguelike, like you operate going through these little DOS nodes and do smaller versions of these levels. The biggest change in how it feels is that the levels are so much smaller.
Yeah.
As opposed to having like multiple waves of enemies, it's usually just the 3 initial dudes, and then you move on to a new thing.
Mm-hmm.
The other big innovation are power-ups.
Yes.
So you get these little nodes where you get to choose between two different power-ups.
It's like classes.
Kinda.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like things like, you move very fast, or bullets slow down when they get close to you,
mm-hmm.
or things you throw will hurt, or will kill rather.
Yeah.
Things like that. The biggest thing is it has like an ending,
mm-hmm.
and the whole experience is like 6 hours.
Yes.
And that's more than I want for
mm-hmm.
this. Like that's still not very many hours. And I know that we're the short game cucks here on this show, but like, I don't know. That's to me, that is more sustained super hotting than I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I want to pick this up every couple of years and be like, fucking A.
Yeah.
This is incredible. I don't ever want it to feel like a friction point. Mm-hmm. For me, and that was my experiences with Mind Control Delete. Like it's really, really neat. I just wish that it didn't have an ending.
Yes,
it could be an arcade mode in Superhot 1,
mm-hmm.
And functionally kind of is.
Yeah,
and that would be better, I think.
The versions of it that I did as well felt like they suffered a little bit for the proc gen.
Yeah.
Too. Like I feel like this kind of experience, explicitly as as a puzzle / strategy kind of thing, kind of needs the deliberateness
Yeah.
to my mind.
Yeah, it depends on the one it does. Like it's proc gen, mildly guided proc gen, which like most proc gen is, where it's it's not fully Jesus take the wheel.
Right.
Some of the things end up being pretty good, and I think the reason one of the reasons why they have shorter encounters is because the levels are less complicated because they're proc gen. The biggest thing that happened to me when I was playing it with proc gen was seeing repeating kind of templates, and that feeling kind of bad, which is weird in a game where the environment is as wireframe as it could be
intentionally.
Yeah. So I expected to like it more than I did. It's still and SUPERHOT VR, great. I think that if I were crowning a champion of SUPERHOT, it would just be original SUPERHOT. And me in 2016 playing it.
Yep.
That is the SUPERHOT king.
Yes. This is an indie darling. It was received very, very well, sold a lot. This mechanic, like people have taken this and run with it, to a certain degree. Like there's a whole course in what the golf that does SUPERHOT shit.
A lot of fun references. There's a item you can get in Enter the Gungeon. That's a stopwatch that makes Enter the Gungeon control like SUPERHOT.
That's so good.
It's really great. It's a huge way to win the game but it also makes the game take like 3 times as long to play. But you can win with the SUPERHOT stopwatch.
So you want to beat the game, huh?
Exactly. But yeah, it's been referenced a bunch because everybody loves it, because of course they do, because it's one of the best ideas in video games.
Yes.
I'm saying the non-meme version, the most innovative shooter I've played in years, but it is a huge breakthrough in what shooters can do. The team, this was very successful. They created a fund for promising other, new indie developers to fund their games. That's great.
Yep.
Don't pull the ladder up.
Yeah.
Behind you.
It's good stuff. Seem like good folks.
Yeah. So when we go through this, it would be a little bit silly in a audio medium to describe the levels. Like there's level design happening here, in term down to the granular wireframe level of like, this waist high wall means that you can't do this, but you can do this. That is a real thing. However, it'd be a little silly for us in an audio medium. So what we're going to concentrate on are new things that are introduced.
Yes.
Throughout the game. And then like major story beats. It's worth, did you end up finding any of the secrets?
No, I did not.
It's worth talking about those in a general sense.
Okay.
We don't have to go through all of them. They're all rewarding the player for like, I wonder if I can get to there.
Okay.
Moment. So like you're in an area with like an office building and there's a window, as opposed to, killing that last guy while he's chasing you, you break the window, jump out on the ledge, and then go into another room that's in that building. When you do that, there's a computer. The computer says you found a secret. You can ask me one question. And this allows you, it's secret, but it's canonical, to the story. You're asking the AI about this, and it reveals some additional lore.
Gotcha.
Some of it is just like really, really obnoxious teenagers who just learned about, like philosophy and stuff. Like you can be like, why are all the enemies red? And it just says, why do you assume they're enemies? Which is like kind of cool. They look like monsters to you.
Yeah.
It's a cool moment, but it plays that card a lot.
They're trying to kill me.
That is why I assume they're enemies. They do want to shoot me on sight before I do anything.
Yeah.
Nobody ever, like between this and Best Quality Vacuum, nobody's ever like, yeah, you tried to kill me. Though that really cuts to the heart of a lot of these moral questions.
Yeah.
Self-defense it's a known term.
Yeah.
But then in terms of it just answers for the player things like, oh, this is a splinter of this AI, and it underlines a bunch of the themes.
Yes.
It's mostly just fun to look for them because it gets you to look at the levels in a way that you're actively discouraged to in the main game. Like the first time I stumbled upon one of these, I was like, oh shit. Then I looked it up online. I'm like, oh, there's one of these for every fucking level.
Yep.
I didn't get all of them, but I, kept an eye out.
Yeah, plenty of them. And I mean, it's worth saying when you kill the last enemy, you are taken to the next thing. So gameplay wise, figuring out a way to keep that one person alive, but not have them kill you as you're going to look for this is also I imagine a thing.
enemies, once they drop a gun, they will go for guns. They
Yeah.
will go for weapons. The one thing they don't do is throw household object shit at you.
Mm.
But if there's a gun on the ground, they will pick one up. And that happens in the main game as well. If you shoot a guy, he drops a gun, and then you throw something at another guy, he'll drop his gun and go for the first one dropped.
Yes.
Enemies will try to arm themselves. So like you kind of have to basically destroy all the guns and let a guy chase you while you're looking for secrets, which makes it's a little Benny Hill. But can you imagine the power Benny Hill would have if time only moved when he did?
You're assuming it doesn't.
Yeah, I guess that's true. And he's just vibrating in a coffin somewhere, keeping life going.
He's able to run into one door and then emerge from a different door.
That's true.
At one point, he's being chased, but then he is the chaser.
That's true.
Yeah. Benny Hill was not born of man. Benny Hill was nurtured by the cruel and different cosmos.
I think that Benny Hill probably does have super hot powers, but it's among many other powers.
Right.
So that's what got confusing for me. Like he can just do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It's fucking Beetlejuice. Like a really ill-defined power set on Benny Hill. I really like the idea of Benny Hill being on a gigantic 7-Eleven hot dog roller to keep life moving. Like there's just like a glass case like Lennon is in, but it's Benny Hill on a hot dog roller because if he ever stops moving, time stops moving. He's the eternal taquito.
Oh my god. All right. Recovering from that.
One of the secrets I liked is you can be like, why can I control time? And it's like, you can control time? It's a really funny secret that pops up in this.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That's real good. Yeah, let's get into it.
Let's do. The game starts up with you starting up the game. It does the standard kind of boot up thing, but this is taking you to the game menu, but also the system that your character in world in his sad little server room apartment is going.
It's real weird.
Yeah,
where he lives with, like in the junk you have to walk through when you get the weird back room.
Yeah,
this is you getting a message from a buddy.
Yeah,
saying, hey, have you played superhot.exe yet? It's a sick new shooter. You say like, what's it like? He's like, it's too hard to describe.
Right.
Just run the exe and try it.
Yeah. Give it a shot. And you run it and you're dropped right into the middle of a level. And you get these messages, these instructions flashing to you on a screen.
Yeah. And we're getting a tutorial here. The messages pop up here, just kind of showing what kind of areas we're in. And it's kind of showing how you're not going to always have a gun for this. Like you're going to have to acquire on site.
Mm-hmm. OSP.
Yes, indeed.
Mm-hmm.
SOP. Oh yeah, it's OSP. Yeah.
What's that?
I thought it was SOP for a second.
Oh, so standard operating procedure versus on-site procurement.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I was like, site on procurement. That's not right.
Yeah. Oh man. But yeah, you're kind of in this car park and you're learning through these messages about how guns are limited. The stages have names, but they are only kind of related to what they are, Yeah.
They're cute when they are, like when they're related. There's a lot of like fun little kind of jokes.
Yes.
That will pop up with these.
Mm-hmm.
But these almost feel like placeholder names.
Yeah.
For stages at points.
Mm-hmm. Kind of the first full non-tutorial stage where they're not actively trying to teach you something is the subway tunnel. You have been held up and you have to deal with people both on the platform. And then this is when the waves start. You get waves of enemies coming down the stairs to the station.
Yes. What this is teaching you, so you have no radar or anything like that. You need to really have your head on a swivel in this because when you die in this game, and like you'll die a lot, the price for death is very low. Mm-hmm. It's, in my experience, a lot of times it was somebody who I didn't know was there shooting me.
Yes.
One thing, if I were to improve this, would be the camera switching over to what shot you.
Yeah.
I always appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in a video game, like, show me what killed me.
Yeah.
This doesn't do that. So you just kind of know to constantly be rubbernecking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, they're coming, coming down left, right, down these stairs. When you kill the last one, you don't warp to the next little levellet. Instead, you can just kind of walk. So I go up the stairs, kind of reach a point where the map is there's no geometry. You just kind of walk out and you get glitches, things start dissolving. It says unauthorized access and it kicks you back out to the PiOS.
Yeah. Back to the real world.
Mm-hmm.
Your friend's like, hey, what'd you think? And you're like, oh man, the subway, et cetera, et cetera. And he says, everyone gets something different.
Yeah.
And this is where you mentioned it glitched out at the end. He's like, no, we got a new crack. We can do this, get back in and play.
Once I learned what was going on in the story, I was like, okay, what's the friend's role in this? Mm-hmm. The fact that he doesn't say SUPERHOT is the most innovative shooter I've played in years means that he is not somebody who is out recruiting like we're going to see at the end here.
No, he's he only got in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Unlike us, who are recruiting via this podcast. Metafiction. Catch the fun,
baby.
Catch the wave, baby.
Yeah. But we download this new executable and we jump back in. We log in and this is where it puts us in a garage with a car about to hit us.
I love this. You have to immediately jump.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times up until this point, you've been starting in an area of relative safety.
Mm-hmm.
This is, you're going to quantum leap in random spots.
Yes.
The next one is called You're at a Bar. Then it says wrong place, wrong time. And there's somebody holding a gun at you and you're at a bar and you have a bunch of stuff on the table.
Yeah.
Teaching you to pick up and throw shit. You don't have to, but you can. There's a wide variety of appealing objects to pick up.
Oh yeah. Just bottles, cups, anything like that. Grab that, throw it. And this is probably the point where, the first time you're going to have a gun flying right at your face and you're going to grab it. I'm excited for you to. Do you like grabbing stuff that flies toward your face, Gary?
I do.
Yeah. Oh boy, you're gonna love Half-Life Alyx.
I love grabbing a thing that flies towards my face. The grab is a really good motion in VR.
Yes.
It's just the throw that sucks. Picking things up is awesome. Putting things down. What the fuck is this? Me picking things up. Yes. Yeah, like, me trying to throw something. No. What the fuck?
Sucks.
This fucking sucks. But yeah, picking things up in VR rules. It's like a ring VR. Like, picking things up, moving things. It's just throwing things that blows.
Yeah. The next one, we're in this cage surrounded by 4 guys, no guns in sight. 2 of them have bats, and we have to figure out how to do this. And this is, I need to find like a word for this, but like an incredibly tight, like basically no margin for error, trying to figure out basically the difference between punching and using melee weapons. Right.
Yeah. This is one of a couple of these that emulates a very specific thing in fiction.
Yes,
they really like, and the closest example. So I'm going to cite a Marvel movie.
No, I know what you're. It's one of the better examples of this. I know exactly what you're going to do, and I will co-sign it before you even say it.
Yeah. People get weird if you bring up Marvel stuff, but the Captain America elevator fight that happens in
Winter Soldier.
Yeah, the Winter Shoulder.
Yep.
Which I get every year, and it makes it hard to chop wood for my family. But that fight is really iconic. Like, I think that's a great action scene. People again get weird about those movies, but this emulates that situation.
Yeah,
like you are in a tight space with a bunch of people and you have to do everything perfectly to succeed. Yeah. It's a really cool fucking thing that you never get to do.
Right.
Like not just in real life, but even in video games.
I was gonna say, what kind of rough and tumble life you living off the cast, man?
I take an elevator that's 3 times faster, but there's always 3 guys who want to punch you in it. It's a trade-off. The amount of time I'm saving over the course of my life is upwards of 5 minutes, and I'm looking forward to spending those nursing my bruises.
Many bruises.
But like, you don't get to do this kind of thing in video games like this,
right?
And when you do, there's a time element. The closest thing I can think of, even in a video game to this, that I've done is like there's a Max Payne 1 thing when you get off an elevator and guys rush in, and Max Payne also slows down time.
Right.
Like, you have to be able to fuck around with time to make this cool.
Right. And just like the incredibly close margins of this. This is like the first person time control melee equivalent of the platforming in Sunco's, or what is it, Sunsoft's Batman game on the NES.
Oh, sure. Yeah. That's great. I love this level. Next thing, you come down from the vent from a bathroom in a strip club, killing somebody in the stall down there. And when you go in the main room, the bartender shoots a shotgun at you, introducing shotguns. We should talk about the weapons and their comparative strengths.
Yes.
In this sense, that's a mechanic. Shotguns have the lowest number of bullets, but they shoot a spread.
Yeah.
Very, very useful.
Can hit multiple things, if you're shooting it at somebody who is no, sorry, that is incorrect. If you are shooting at somebody who is throwing something at you, no, wait a minute. Did they throw stuff? Fuck.
No, enemies don't throw stuff at you.
Yeah.
They shoot you. Right. So this has a better chance of shooting their bullets. You don't have to aim as well. You can miss and still hit, because only one of these little bits of pellet has to kill a guy.
You can hit multiple people as well, which is good. And only one needs to hit them for them to for them to shatter. The trade-off is fewer shots, and also the fact that like it feels like there is a longer time to reload between the barrels.
Pistol has an average reload time, but there is one. You can't just fire it. That's a big change that VR changes. I think the VR changes. You can fire more semi-automatically.
Yes.
In VR, at least initially, like I haven't beaten the VR game because it's a little bit frustrating.
Yeah.
But you have more bullets. You have 4 bullets. But you're just shooting one bullet. You have to be precise. This is where you're gonna have to like really lead your shots.
Okay.
And stuff.
Yeah.
There. And then the machine gun you get, which fires in burst. This is really cool. But you have to, once you've hit the trigger, the rest of those bullets are coming, whether you account for them or not.
Right.
You can turn faster than they'll shoot. So you can do some really fucking wild shit with this.
You can do sprays.
You can do sprays. You can shoot somebody in front of you and behind you with the same button press.
Yep.
Like, it's real tricky, but you can do these kind of like wide angle things. It's the best weapon, and that's why it's the rarest.
Yes.
Like, you get an average number of shots, but it's really, really nice balance.
Yeah.
And they don't introduce that until later.
Right. The big trade-off on it is like, yes, all of those bullets are going to come out whether you want them to or not. Time will continue moving for as long as those shots are firing and moving.
True. Yeah. So a bigger time is a resource.
Yes.
That kind of thing.
Yeah. But you've got to, I mean, for me, it was all about keeping you're pretty far distance away from the bartender with the shotgun, and there's a pool table in between you. So like this was entirely about picking up a pool ball, throwing it at him, and then he's going to try and pick up his shotgun that he keeps on dropping because it's a big old butterfingers. you're just throwing multiple things at him as you close the distance to get that to get that from him as enemies materialize from the backstage of the of the dancing stage, from the bathroom, from the supply room.
Incredible Jackie Chan vibes. It's worth noting, similar to Hotline, again, the Hotline Miami comparisons keep coming. It's not the most fun way to play this, but it's worth noting you can use cover and shit.
Yeah.
In this game, like, you are encouraged to just YOLO and like run into this and literally dodge bullets and do the coolest thing possible. If you run into a level that's giving you grief and you just want to see the next level, and you're not feeling stubborn, like you don't want to just keep iterating on that same thing, like you can hide out and wait for a guy to come to you. You can hide around corners. You can do things like that. I don't think it's the most fun way to play that way.
Yeah.
It's definitely something I resorted to a couple times because something would irritate me and I just wanted to see new shit. I like that that's available.
Yes. The fun thing about that is because if you're waiting around the corner for somebody to run toward you and become vulnerable, you end up having to do the little dance. It's kind of like you got to pee real bad.
Yeah. You just you're missing the cook-off, missing the chili. Yeah. Next level, you break into a facility dropping in through a skylight. So this introduces glass. Windows have to be hit once, so they break. A bullet won't go through them. The first bullet will shatter the window. The second bullet will go through. It also introduces the katana.
Okay.
Here. So like if you're using a shotgun, the first pellet will break the glass and go through it, but you have to double tap with a pistol.
Yes. It is usually best to let the enemy break it for you with their shot to waste it and then shoot through it.
Yeah. And then the katana, which is interesting, it moves faster than some other melee weapons. You get a unique reticle for it to kind of show this. It can slice bullets in half, and if you throw it, it will one-shot kill.
Yeah. It is a high value item. It kind of feels like it's one of the few items that is more dangerous in your hands than in enemy hands.
The enemy, takes the same long wind up.
Yeah.
Like that you do. They knew they had something with the katana. That's why there's a katana only mode.
Yeah.
As one of the challenges. And that's pretty fun.
Yeah.
It's also, those modes end up becoming bonuses in the roguelike version. Like one of the things you can get, the traits you can get is you start with a katana or start with a pistol. Starting with weapons in your hand is one of the benefits you can get.
Yeah. Next stage, you're in an alley. There's a truck barreling down toward you. It's a truck, so you can't jump it. Instead, you have to run directly for this little alcove so that the truck will pass by you, and it crashes, and the driver gets out. This is your introduction to the assault rifle. Doing some real Benny Hill stuff. Having this guy chase me around the truck.
Trying to shoot you. And again, he has unlimited ammo. I think it would be interesting if the enemies could run out of ammo.
Yes.
In this. When you get done with this, you get this out of bound glitch. Like the next scenario doesn't load for you. And you get a little message. It says, what did you expect? The game is saying like, hey, take a rhythm and chill out for a second. You just did some intense stuff. It's time to go to the video store in Hotline Miami.
And so we get a message from our friend. And we say, like, he says, "Oh, I've been trying to get a hold of you for hours." You say, "Oh, it doesn't feel like that." Kind of one of your first, signs that something is really wrong here. And you kind of talk about like how random everything is. Like, oh, it's just there's no plot, there's no point. You're just killing red guys.
This gets the computer.
It gets real salty about you.
Does not like you saying it. The friend says, "No, it goes somewhere." But I don't want to spoil anything. However, this next batch of levels is password protected, and to gain access, we go in there, it tells us to put in a password. We just put in nonsense and this gains us access to it. This is because the AI wants us in there.
We've demonstrated ourselves to be level 7 susceptible.
Exactly. And we're good at doing these mind crimes. These Operation Mind Crimes from Queenstrike.
And now we're back in, and the level glitches right away. It is not after it's not after the normal, for you. It says, says they cracked the system, and you're in the server room with a bunch of shotgun dudes. That's basically like the Vulcan Raven arena. You're running around this grid with these shotgun guys. This is like you end up just doing cover by default on this.
Yeah. Looking for people to go over corners. After this, you end up in this empty space. You get the message locating breach. Then you walk forward a little bit. It goes, "Are you with them?" And we're watching somebody walk along these corridors, and then the camera fast forwards to show somebody sitting at a computer. This is us. And then the computer says, "We can see you," and then logs us out.
Yeah. So it just, showed you a picture of your own house. One of the more threatening things you can do to somebody online.
Oh yeah. Like online made that scary.
Yes.
If an evil AI is doing it to me, it's fine. if somebody,
if I get a Twitter DM,
if somebody's mad at me because I didn't play Neo 2 and does it, then it's weird. Like, that feels like a boundary.
So your friend chats and says, hey, what's going on? And you try explaining what you saw, but everything that you write, you see when you're typing it in, you're trying to explain what's happening, but then it gets overwritten, basically with like, "Oh, this is no big deal" kind of stuff. Like you need to go.
He's saying,
stop
like,
playing.
"Why won't you share the password?"
Right.
and the computer like is protecting him by not letting you do that.
Mhm.
Kinda. He gets pissed and breaks up with you.
Yeah.
There. Like,
Could be a
hey,
better friend.
yeah, he's like, I'm done with you. Who even knows what this guy is?
Yeah.
We go back to the main menu here, and there is a new superhot.exe. It's been downloaded. There's no message. And when we go into this one, we're taken to the tutorial, which this is the first of, they're called in the community, the dog levels.
Yep.
Where you are in a jail cell with security cameras and the game starts telling you what to do, like walk, stand still, sit, and then saying good dog.
Like, this is the tutorial. This is the system kind of laying it out. You have no agency in this. You are like, I'm going to break your will, essentially. You are a dog.
Yes. They end up referencing this in Control Mind Delete with enemies that have dog heads that move really fast are invincible. Or like they're better agents.
Nice.
The best dogs.
There is you're taken to this high-rise construction site. Apparently this is a hospital. If you look this up, it is really hard to tell. Yeah.
And it kind of matters.
Yeah. I call it an apartment, and it's definitely not one of those, but it's telling you, hey, punch this guy through a window, and you can do it. Like, it's just kind of telling you, like, if you can get people to fall off of a ledge, send them over a ledge.
Yep, they'll also die.
Yeah.
You fight your way out of the back of a box truck, which is real fun. It's that like super enclosed space, and then when you get out, you're in these alleys.
Yeah.
There are enemies. The arena is kind of U-shaped. There are enemies coming from all angles. It's real tricky. You think you've done real good, and it takes you back into a room with a cage for a ceiling where people above you are shooting at you. Like in a pit.
Yeah. And you're dodging the bullets, and the screen says dance dog.
Yep. You can dodge these forever. If you run around the perimeter of the room, you'll never get hit. And eventually the game will just say die dog.
Yep. And then all of them start shooting.
And you can still dodge. Again, if you run around the perimeter, you'll never get hit. You have to choose when to end this.
Yeah. But you do die. And then it says good dog. And now you're in this museum hallway with a bunch of dudes charging you. The first round of people, like as you're going in one direction and dealing with them, it's all melee stuff. Like, and there are things on the little museum pedestals to pick up. There's a katana. There's a couple of statues you can throw, things like that. It's a nice, fun level. And then when you get to the end, it says watch your six, and then you turn around and it's a wave of people with guns and basically no way to dodge.
Significantly more tricky. I engage in some cover shenanigans, like ducked into an alcove and let them get closer. One of the what I think is the second hardest level of the game.
Okay.
For me is elevator pitch.
Yeah.
You're in an elevator with three guys right next to you. Two have guns, and they're all basically getting ready to murk you. There's one way to do this. It feels like this took me a bunch of tries though. And then as soon as you finish these three dudes, the door opens and two guys with shotguns fire in. So you have to duck into the side and take cover right away.
Yeah. Dealing with those first three guys, it really feels like I have to utilize the space behind me a lot. Yeah. And just basically like juggle the guns out of them as I get the punches in.
It's a real lesson in like disarming the enemy is more important than arming yourself.
Yeah.
It's a weird, like you're encouraged to kind of play defensively.
Yeah.
Because until you get a gun, and even if the guns take a while to get ready, 3 punches is forever in terms of the time economy you're spending here. Yeah. I find this level hard.
Yeah.
And then it's all pretty smooth sailing up into the last level, which is very hard.
Yes. After this, the game throws your words back in your face. No plot, no reason for anything, just killing red guys. Yeah. It says you don't know what you're doing.
Yep. Which I don't. I'm a good dog. It says watch closely. It tells you to left click to receive. And we get this person approaching our home as we click. We're advancing like a PowerPoint until we get up to our home, our shitty little server apartment, and it says your body is here, your mind is here, like in the jail with us.
Yes, it flashes you to the jail cell.
Yep, and you try to press escape, you cannot disconnect. You can't literally can't log off, like in Live Scream. You're Johnny Reddit and you can't log off in the movie Live Scream, which surely many people who are listening to this have heard and seen.
Listen to the adaptation decay. It's charming.
Yes. Yeah,
The movie is. Yeah.
It's a charming episode as well.
Yeah.
Then the AI says, "Let's have a little chat," and boot you out. The system talks to you and says it's not a game. He mentions that you're ruled by your pride, which is a weird thing to say.
Yeah, not a factor in this.
Yeah. I was expecting this to go into Hotline Miami, like, you're having fun killing people, aren't you?
Right.
And it couldn't, because Hotline Miami came out before this.
Uh-huh.
That was already like well-established territory.
Yeah, you're not going to bite somebody else's routine. Yeah.
Yeah. If Hotline Miami hadn't come out, I think that might have been a stronger thing than you're ruled by your pride.
Mm-hmm.
It says, quit and never launch superhot.exe again. You say, I won't. And it goes, I need you to say the words.
Yep.
It literally micro-intro you. Like,
now here's what you're going to do.
Here's what you're going to do. You're never going to, Walter.
No, Walter.
So you have to type, I will never launch superhot.exe again. And you can do that, and it'll kick you out of a thing. And you theoretically could just
walk away
live by your word.
This is your last out.
Yeah, I'm out. But you launched again because you're ruled by your pride? No, because it's a fun video game. You want to see what happens.
Yeah, they hooked you. They had a really good idea for a game.
Yeah, one of the best ones of all time.
It's not your fault.
Yeah, it's the company's fault for making you want it so much.
Take it.
Yeah.
Oh man! So you launch it, and you're dropped into a cool situation. You're jumping off of this balcony in kind of a grand ballroom kind of thing to kill two guys. You're getting kind of a jump attack on them. Then just a flood of guys comes down this double staircase as you're murking them left and right.
Yeah. Literally left and right. Like, they're kind of staggered.
Yep.
It's real fun. Like, shoot right, shoot left, shoot right, shoot left. Like, it's very silly.
It's like a fucking Parappa level.
It's very, oh man, Parappa, where time only moves when you do.
Well, kind of takes a bit of the fun out of a rhythm game, doesn't it?
Yeah. I just want to apply this to all. Can you imagine Night in the Woods where time only moves when you do? like every video game gets this treatment.
Oh,
surely
God.
something else works like this. The world, at this point, the next you go to this corporate office suite, where you have to get past security and clear this boardroom. Through there. Security has like a little window. This is where I first grokked the window physics of this. And then when you get into that boardroom, there are little model buildings you can throw at people.
Yeah, this is like a real estate developer. So it's almost like a city hall kind of thing. Yeah.
It's a lot like, have you seen all of the John Wick series of films?
I've seen the first two. Yeah.
In the third one, there's a knife fight.
Okay.
That some of this stuff kind of reminds me of. That's a really good knife fight. So.
I mean, if it's, I'm led to believe that if there's a fight in a John Wick movie, it's very good.
It is like the best action movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the world dissolves after you finish this level, and the computer, is going to read you the riot act. You didn't keep your word. And it says, hey, pay yourself a visit. It's going to, it's going to bop us on the nose with a newspaper, right? We're a bad dog. So we have to.
It tells you this is not a toy. This is a tool.
Yes.
At this point, and makes you go visit yourself and punch yourself in the back of the head. Yeah.
Which, like,
not just for Chell anymore.
No.
Now you can do it as well.
So you punch yourself, and then immediately you're back in the OS, right?
Yeah.
And chat says, like, hey, you really need to go, like, leave the game and seek medical attention. But of course you can't.
Yep. Instead, you do what you always do, which is launch superhot.exe. This is all glitched up. And when your character in here goes to call for help, in this, all the messages are just changed to super hot.
Yes.
That you say super hot, super hot, super hot. The friend from the beginning of the game is, tries to contact you, super sick of your shit. You're just saying super hot.
Yeah.
Back at them, and you're saying you want to get back into the game.
Yeah.
You are hopelessly addicted due to your pride.
Yeah. And the game says, as you wish, or the system says, as you wish. And then you're in this kind of cool 3D approximation of, a 3D space made out of the chunky block GIFs of the Pi OS. And you walk
Yes.
along this until you reach the jail cell, the jail door, and then it does the horror game trick where you walk up to the door, and then suddenly you're inside, without ever crossing over to the other side. Just boom, all the way behind you is now the cell.
Yep. And it says the system will set you free. The system will shape you. In the secrets of this, they talk a lot about like what shape you are and casting off your shape.
Yeah.
Why you are this shape. Like it's real mind body separation stuff.
Yeah.
Given that the mind is only software.
Mm-hmm.
The field of view narrows to the single vertical line. And when you press E, it goes super. And when you click, it goes hot.
Sorry, hot.
Yeah, hot. So you just go back and forth. Super hot, super hot, super hot. Until eventually you get this huge wall of text. The system will set you free. The mind is software. Bodies are disposable.
And that's kind of the mantra for the back third of the game.
Yeah, teaching you about hot swapping into people.
Yes.
Like a disc.
Uh-huh. So now you're in this new level, and it says leave this body, and here's a new mechanic.
Yes.
This is neat. I'm not entirely. It doesn't feel necessary. Like it just kind of feels like a way for them to throw a lot more people at you and give you like an oh shit button almost to get out if you're in danger, to cast into somebody else.
It's necessary so they can keep escalating.
Yes.
Like I think that what you said is true, but it's a cart and horse thing.
Yeah.
Like they wanted the ability to send more people at you. And make these levels more complicated because like SUPERHOT is a hard thing to iterate on,
right?
Kind of like permanently.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not a one trick pony, but it's a few trick pony.
Mm-hmm.
So they need something so they can amp the intensity.
Yes.
The way that they do it by allowing you to look at somebody, and if it's on a recharge, and swap into them.
Mm-hmm.
This is interesting in a couple different ways. One, they will always throw their weapon. Mm-hmm. Which will break when it hits the ground. You cannot catch it in time. So you can't swap into somebody to steal their weapon.
Right.
It obviously neutralizes that person. And the early thing you're taught to do is when someone's shooting you and you're about to get hit to swap, because that kills an enemy as well. You swap out of your body and your body dies.
Yes.
And you're now in the new body.
It's a cool effect when you swap out because like the body goes from red to black.
Yeah. Yep. It's cool looking. Pretty neat as an added tool. It's a weird thing where like the power-ups that they do in the sequel do not add additional tools. I feel like they understood that this game needed two verbs.
Yeah.
At best, like it wouldn't be cool if I had a whole, like one of the things I was thinking about, because I recently replayed Dishonored 2 was like, being able to turn on superhot power.
Yeah.
As a different articulation of time stop. Like what if that was Emily's, version of time stop in Dishonored 2? That's a cool idea. But I didn't want a bunch of powers applied to superhot. Like blinking or something would be cool in this. Like, and it would make a lot of sense. Like it would fit in well, but it would kind of fuck with the purity of it.
This is kind of one of those things that is defined by its limitation.
And it needed one more thing so it can escalate up, which could have been a number of things. Like a Corvo style blink would have also served a similar purpose.
Yeah.
To hot swapping people. And this wouldn't fit into the themes as well, but like, you know what I mean? Like it would have done the gameplay thing of giving you an oh shit button, allowing you to relocate. It's like it had an allowance for one.
Yes.
And they picked a good one for it. I don't think it's the only one that would have worked, but they didn't have allowance for two.
Right.
When this game came out, there was discourse around wanting it to be longer and more complicated. Like people who were disappointed in this game, they're disappointed because of its limited scope.
Because they wanted more.
They wanted more. And I think time has really shown that limited scope to be a huge advantage of this. It's part of why it works so well in VR. If you had a bunch of different powers, it wouldn't.
Right.
So
yeah, agreed. But you have this now, and you're going to have it until the end of the game.
Yes. So levels are getting longer, tougher. There are more enemies because they know you can swap out through there. It always felt, the other thing about the hot swap thing real quick before we move on is I never got a really good feeling for the timing of it, how long it would take to recharge.
It doesn't, it doesn't feel like it is time. Well, time is weird in this. I don't know if that's just because, I am consuming time at different rates. Depending on what's going on, it almost felt like tied to like a particular number of actions or other people killed.
Same. It's part of what makes the last level very hard.
Yeah.
I would have appreciated like a indicator like the reticle.
Yeah.
For when your gun is ready to fire. Like I would have a little meter that fills up or something.
I also wonder if there's like if they're maximizing it for drama. So like if it's almost like a danger thing, like there's an exponent put on it where like, all right, there's this number of people with guns around you. We're going to make it recharge faster, or that's when we're going to give it to you so you can use it in the clutch. Right.
Yeah. Who can tell? Like it's a system that is designed in a lot of ways for making last minute dramatic scenarios. And I don't know how much of that is emergent and how much of it is guided.
Yeah. And that means they did a good job.
Yeah. Yeah. Either way. Like both are acceptable.
Yeah.
You know, if I can't tell, but still dramatic things are happening constantly. Yeah. The next level is the spiral staircase you're on. You're at the top of it. Enemies will come from above and below. And if you can get up to the top, there's an armor you can get up to with a wide selection of weapons.
Yeah.
This level is real cool. You can play it multiple ways. You can make your way down. You can also go up to the top and like camp out.
Yeah.
And wait for guys to come to you.
Yeah. This is, I mean, there have been, I'm again casting back. It's not a long game. This is the most vertical level, I think.
Yeah. And it leads right into the most horizontal level. That exists. Cubicle Farm.
Yeah, this is rough. This might be my second hardest compared along with the last. Yeah,
this is really difficult.
Yeah,
just because there are a lot of enemies that come from a lot of different ways. Cubicle Farm. You know, we've done that server farm, which is a little bit like the Vulcan Raven fight. This is similar, but with like worse visibility.
Yeah.
And angles, you know, the way a cubicle works where like it's not a block. It doesn't block shots from
every side,
from all angles. Yeah. Like people can get diagonal angles on you.
And it's real easy to get yourself caught in them if you're not watching which way you're going.
Yes. Yeah. This took me a lot of tries to figure out like the optimal opening gambit. Like it's cool how many choices you have. When you start, like you start at a T intersection and all three different directions you can go are viable.
Yeah.
For opening kind of moves.
The thing that makes the restricted visibility complicates your hot swap as well, because you know if you only see one person at the end of one of these hallways or whatever, you have no way of knowing, okay, if I'm going to warp into that, are there like three guys with shotguns like right there?
Yeah.
You know?
And they immediately know you've switched places.
Yes.
So they'll immediately switch aggro onto you.
Yeah.
This is probably something we should have noted in the generalities, but another thing is that enemies can kill each other. This level is really big for that.
Yeah.
Because of there are lots of enemies with shotguns. It will spawn behind each other, and they don't have an AI where they take each other into account.
Right.
Really, if a guy is in front of you, and then there's a guy behind him, the guy behind him will shoot at you.
It's kind of like little kids playing soccer. They're all running right after the ball.
Yeah, it's very similar to that, and you are the ball.
Yep.
No.
Oh man. So you're taken into a story bit after the cubicle farm. Pretty intense. You get a little beat, and the system shows you kind of this ASCII brain. It's like it's illustrating to you. Says you are just a tool now. You know, we will use you to destroy the enemy from within. Yep.
It asks if you want more details, and if you say yes, it just gives you this quick scroll of walls of text.
It's incredibly sarcastic. It's so good.
Very funny. Another hard level, like the levels from here on out are hard.
Yes.
You start on a subway platform. You have to deal with everyone on your side as a train is going by. When the train finishes, there are a bunch of guys on the other side. A really cool mix of like close and medium range combat to long range combat. That's real neat.
Yeah. Do you want to hear how dumb my brain is? After I dealt with all the guys on my side, and then the train passed. Something about the other guys being on the other side of a subway platform made me forget that I could hot swap over to them to get closer and take easier shots.
The third rail will get you.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could electrocute in the air. Yeah. Yeah, hot swapping in this game, like we talk about one of the reasons why it only has room for one additional mechanic is because it's easy to forget that mechanic is there.
Right.
Like even if it wasn't for the subway thing, like you don't use that as much as the core mechanic.
Right.
Of it. Yeah, I didn't have that specific problem, but I would have times where I'd be like, fuck, what do I do? And then be like, oh yeah, I can swap.
Yes.
And it will remind you, like the developers knew this. This probably came up in playtesting that people were forgetting they could do it because you'll get the message like swap ready or transfer ready. I can't remember which term it uses exactly.
Yeah. So you deal with the subway platform. Now you're on top of the train, heading right toward a tunnel. So you have to get inside. Of course, there's somebody in front of you who gets obliterated by the tunnel first, playing by cinematic rules. And now you are inside of the train, and the enemies have shotguns. And the thing about inside of a train is not a lot of left and right. Pretty narrow space.
They also, between the cars, there's not, it's not one of those little hallways. It's just the connector thing.
Yes.
So you can't duck to the side and take that as cover. Again, very tricky.
Yeah.
After you do this, you get the message, repeat after me. The mind is software, bodies are disposable. You start out at this, then we're in this transport depot with these very long sight lines, and we have to make our way up to this like kind of bottleneck at the control booth.
Yeah.
There.
Repeat after me. The system will set me free. It says, and now like you're in this corporate lobby. These past few levels have been taking you, to get you in close.
There's just one more step, and it's the super tough level. There. This is the finale. This takes many tries, I find. Both times I played it. It kind of leads to the checkpointing in this being, again, kind of tricky to figure out. And it is a bigger stressor point in the VR version than here, but this is a long level to repeat content.
Yeah.
There are checkpoints in this level, weirdly enough, as you go, because they know that would be a pain to do all in one sitting, but it still ends up feeling kind of bad sometimes. And
the space is very large is the thing. And enemies will warp in, and so what you're doing is you're trying to transfer into the core. So it's like you're in this big control room that's kind of shaped like a plus, and you're running around the edges. You will transfer into the core, and you get a little screen showing percentage, but I think you have to do it like 4 or 5 times because people keep on pulling you out. And that's the checkpoint where you are doing the combat again, and then you have to wait for your hot swap to come up. So you actually don't have your swap.
That's the other
available
thing
for this. Yeah.
It makes it really difficult. Like technically you could swap into an enemy when your hot swap is ready, but you'd just be prolonging the inevitable.
Yeah.
There's no end of guys. It's not going to eventually clear out. So it ends up being, it's weird how the last level of this is, the difficulty is elevated by taking away that tool that you didn't get for very long. And in the narrative, it makes sense. The computer was only giving you this tool for this purpose.
Right.
But it's very hard. It's hard to describe more about how it is difficult, other than just that it's really fucking difficult. A lot of dudes well armed.
Something that is true of even the other big levels that you get is that everything is pretty predictable. You get guys, who start with these weapons and will, just kind of proceed. Because the AI is pretty simple, you can kind of guess where they're going to be. And then at the very least, you can just like rote memorize what your best path is through this by doing trial and error kind of stuff. With this, with the level being as big as it is, and with enemies coming in from a relatively far distance away, and, you might kill somebody and then not immediately take their weapon, you're kind of randomizing when people are going to like arrive and be dangerous to you, and what they might pick up along the way. As it goes. So like this is, just by scope, effectively kind of a randomized level as well, is what I found.
There's a lot of weapons and stuff on the ground, and it's a randomized level. It also rewards, unlike the other levels which reward improvisation, you want to know this level, and you'll play it enough times to know it. Like there are areas you can get to that are good little strongholds. And I got down to the point where I was like, okay, this area has 2 guns that I can use, and I can use this to fend off 5 guys. But then I need to move on because those guys were far away when I shot them. I need to get somewhere else with weapons, or I'm going to get overwhelmed. Like I started remembering order of operation things based on the level. Which is very kind of contrary to SUPERHOT. Like, I don't know what a finale for this game should be. I don't know if this is it. But again, it sounds like, damning it again. It's the most innovative shooter I've played in years. Once you get the transfer happening to 100%, it's your point of view hovers above the core, and now you can just look at people and explode their heads.
Yep.
You go to the different the wings of this plus sign and just explode everybody's brains.
Yes. Yeah. You're scannersing them. Yeah.
Yep. It's great.
And you have assumed control. This whole system is now yours. And the system that has been telling you what to do says you are still weak. And you're back in the low res prison for like a little bit until it says, hey, something is holding you back. You need to set yourself free. And the cell door opens, and now you are in the hallway outside of your apartment. Yep. And you have to go in, and the mind is software, the body is disposable. This link to the body is keeping you from being the cyber god that we need you to be. You have a gun, shoot yourself.
Yep. The body is disposable. The mind is software. You do so, but yet you live. You've been singularity into this thing.
Mm-hmm. I love that the first thing that pops up after the ASCII brain, just falls apart as it's there, is endless mode unlocked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you being whatever this like super assassin is for this thing, your reward is being able to do it forever. Pure high octane nightmare fuel. Tear jerked me to completion until I came. Like,
shame on you.
Yeah. Well, it happens. Let's all be adults about it, okay? Like, come on. Like you never eye creamed. Like Jesus. So the screen at this point goes red. It says hand over control. And when you type, you kind of become along with this chorus of people going, one of us, because it's been recruiting.
Yes, it has.
Yeah. And then says, hey, keep recruiting.
Yep. But we need you to go out and bring more. The system needs more of you to get powerful. And it says, don't say too much. Gives you the template. Says, hi, blank. You have to check out this game. It's the most innovative shooter I've played in years. Yeah. and then it also like gives you the tool to cut little videos to share on social media.
Mm-hmm. To in a cool, again, metafiction. Yay.
Yeah.
And you are free to play SUPERHOT forever because endless mode popped up. There's a little beat there.
Yeah.
Endless mode is kind of what the roguelike mode is, except you're playing for score. Endless mode is fun. Yeah. In this, I don't play video games for a score. I don't have that part of my brain, so I just play until I don't want to anymore.
Yeah.
But it is really fun to go through a series of levels, just seeing how long you can run a combo.
Yeah.
On this,
I'm more partial to the challenge mode kind of stuff. Just okay, do it all with melee stuff like that. Do it all with throwables kind of deals.
All throwables, all katanas, stuff like that. There are a bunch of different little fun modes though. They decided to get wider rather than longer.
Yeah.
And that's SUPERHOT.
Good game.
Shooter I played in years.
No.
Yeah, great game.
Yeah. Even memes aside, just something to come along and make you think about shooters in a different way. Like Portal is probably, I don't know. That might be like hyperbolic. I ultimately, I don't know that this is as important as Portal ultimately ended up being because of the time that Portal came out. But like it is also the closest point of comparison that I can think of in terms of finding new stuff to do in a first person interaction model. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of thing like, and this is a cliche and people use it just as a marker of quality. And I think this game is great. I'm not saying this as a marker of quality. This is something that they should teach in game design schools though.
Yes.
Not because it's so good, but because it forces you to think about, forces you to, and gives you time to think about things that are happening in like first person games where you shoot things. Even aside from FPSs specifically as a genre, are the dominant form of the medium.
Yep.
It doesn't matter whether the game is an FPS, you are in first person and shooting things in most video games. There are lots where you don't as well, but like, Elder Scrolls, Resident Evil 8, which is not an FPS, but yours is a first person shooting game. Getting you to think about wide swaths of the gaming landscape and its constituent parts.
Yeah. And also, it's rare to find another example of something that is, one of those things where you can't really take more away, but also if you added more, it would fundamentally change. If you take it away, it hurts. If you add, it hurts. Right.
Yep. It's got that perfection.
Yeah.
Kind of element to it. It's not quite perfect, but it's really fucking good. And
yeah. It's kind of on the road,
Yeah, it's right on the road. And I can basically imagine every couple of years for the rest of my life firing up a version of this just because it's really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for listening. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Hey, Gary, do you have a project you want to highlight?
I don't.
Okay.
Need more.
Okay.
Need project.
How would people submit for that?
If you are a non-straight white dude, non-straight white cis dude, and you have a project you'd like to talk about, send me an email at gary@duckfeed.tv. Include your pronouns, give us a little pitch. Please do not submit on behalf of other people. I do have a couple of those, but I don't want to run those for reasons I talked about last episode. But yeah, and if there's somebody who who runs a project that you think might benefit from this, like our audience might enjoy hearing about them, have them write in.
Yeah.
That's me giving you a job. Saying hey, you go do this legwork. It is beyond the scope of what I can take on to just go search out people and be like, hey, first of all, that feels skeevy for me. Be like, hey, we want to talk about your thing. It's the thousands of emails I get about we want to feature everything to Guppy on wisdom share. No, you don't.
No, you don't.
No, you don't. I promise
it's got nothing to do with wisdom.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's great that somebody has finally recognized our wisdom and offered us something called Wisdom Coin. But at the same time, I don't want to solicit that. But if you are a fan and it's oh man, this person deserves more eyes on their project. Send them a thing and be like, hey, I know this podcast. They're not chuds. They talk about projects for marginalized creators. Just send them an email if you want to get some exposure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are we ready to announce the?
No, I want to wait for Nick and Brayton to make sure it's fine. I think that they're fine.
Okay.
We're finalizing Duckstream.
Yes.
Stay tuned for Duckstream news. We think we have the weekend in mind. We're pretty sure. I just want to make sure Nick and Brayton say it's okay.
Cool.
Will had to make sure he had time off. I think it's gonna be fine with Nick and Brayton, but I just need to ping them.
Cool.
So saying that for audience.
Yes.
As well as you. But yeah, we'll make an announcement about that very soon.
Cool.
Yeah.
So if you want to help out, first, if you have thoughts about SUPERHOT, or Deus Ex Mankind Divided, or this month's premium game, which is Half-Life Alyx, please go to duckfeed.tv/contact, and write in. Click the WAF button and write in there. So the deadline for that is on the 15th. Something that I am going to be changing is there is also a contact thing on the Watch Out for Fireballs homepage that people have been using. I'm going to slowly be taking that away. Just because it goes to different places and I've had to go gather them every time. But yes, the canonical way to get stuff in is to go to duckfeed.tv/contact.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can also support us by going to patreon.com/duckfeedtv. That is how you will get those premium episodes, which you mentioned, like that Half-Life Alyx episode, or our very fun Evil Within 2 episode from last month. If you want to hear those, that's how you do it. You can leave us ratings, reviews on Apple Podcast or Podcast Addict. And you can tell your friends. It's the most innovative podcast you've heard in years.
And if you want to play along with stuff coming up, December's games are going to be Torment, Tides of Numenera, and Shadowrun Hong Kong, and then patrons are going to get the third arcade special.
Yeah, since it's a bonus Patreon episode, that might be 2 games each instead of 3. We haven't really figured it out yet, but some kind of some arcade games to talk about. We're going to keep doing those for the rest of our lives. Yeah, because it's a big part of gaming and it's fun. It's real weird to just ignore arcade stuff. Yeah, that's not part of our remit. And what should they do until next time, Cole?
Until next time. Dispose of your body.